People turn to the search engine box and admit things to it that they would not admit to their doctor, their shrink, their priest, their wife or husband, without a thought that all of these queries are being stored.
People are treating Google like their most trusted friend. Should they be?
Well, I think judgment matters. And if you have something that you don't want anyone to know, maybe you shouldn't be doing it in the first place.
That plain, simple address, Google.com, has become our portal to the world. You can use it to find out how to tie a bow tie,
tuck the middle of the loose end behind the bow,
or to get a football score. It can also help you with more personal issues, like finding a divorce lawyer, researching a medical problem, even getting a date. And for all this, the world's most powerful technology company charges us nothing. But that doesn't mean it's free. The real cost may be in users' privacy.
I think most of them have not ever consciously thought of the privacy trade-off that they are making. I don't think they recognize that these products aren't really free, but that, in fact, you are trading your privacy for these services. The decision to invoke the state's...
Kevin Bankston is a senior attorney at the Electronic Frontier Foundation in San Francisco. He's worried about how much Google knows about you.
Google keeps every search query, what you type into the box, forever. They have every query ever since, they started running this on a few boxes at Stanford. The question is whether that data is identifiable to you.
It's no secret that Google keeps its users' search terms. They say they analyze that data to refine their search engine and other programs. Marissa Meyer is a Google vice president.
If I'm a Google user, you have years worth of my search terms, stuff that may contain all kinds of incredibly personal data. If I use other Google services, you can see the contents of my email, my documents, my spreadsheets, my personal photos, my voicemail, even the contacts in my address book. You guys really know everything about me.
Well, we don't know everything about you, but I think the most important thing on all these products, on most of these products, in fact, all of these products, our philosophy is transparency, choice, and control. Be very transparent about what data you have associated with that particular user. Give the users very clear choices about whether or not to use the product at all. And then give them control over their data, because we really do believe that the users own their own data, and they should be able to control it.
That may be Google's policy, but it's not the law. No one really owns the data. But Google controls it, and the volume of it is staggering.
This is the geo display. Each dot is a query, each color is a language.
Almost 2 billion Google searches are done every day.
And this is actually the live queries right now.
That has created an astoundingly intimate database of who we are and what we think.
People turn to the search engine box and admit things to it that they would not admit to their doctor, their shrink, their priest, their wife or husband, or anyone else, without a thought that all of these queries are being stored.
If that doesn't give you pause, Seton Hall law professor Frank Pasquale has a suggestion. Imagine someone reading through a list of every Google search you've ever done.
There are things that can be misinterpreted, or that could somehow shed a bad light or shed a false light on somebody. You may just be interested in a certain topic, but it may associate you with a topic like terrorism or something like that. If you're doing a school report on that, that would be tough if you ultimately found yourself on, say, some TSA watch list because it ended up getting to the TSA.
Yeah, but isn't a search done on Google completely anonymous?
It depends. If you're signed in, it's definitely not anonymous. If you're not signed in, that search will at least be connected to your IP address, which is the unique address of your computer on the network.
Privacy advocates say the digital footprints we leave behind, from cell phones, GPS devices, and search engines, just to start, have created a huge array of targets for prying eyes. Not just from marketers and hackers, but also the government and law enforcement officials pursuing terrorists and other criminals.
Police, don't move!
The Fourth Amendment protects citizens from unreasonable search and seizure. But the government has argued that it doesn't protect data handed over to a third party, like Google.
Can the government tell Google it wants, it demands all the information that Google has collected from any particular person who's done searches?
I believe that if you look at some of the examples of prosecutions and divorce actions there, that the answer would be yes. That because of something called the third-party doctrine, our Fourth Amendment law doesn't apply to a lot of things that you do online.
In fact, the Electronic Frontier Foundation estimates that Google is subpoenaed in lawsuits, criminal cases, and intelligence investigations tens of thousands of times a year. Though it sometimes fights these requests, Google is compelled to reveal its users' information in some cases. The company declined to tell us how often that happens.
People are treating Google like their most trusted friend. Should they be?
Well, I think judgment matters.
Eric Schmidt is Google's CEO.
If you have something that you don't want anyone to know, maybe you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. But if you really need that kind of privacy, the reality is that search engines, including Google, do retain this information for some time. And it's important, for example, that we are all subject in the United States to the Patriot Act. It is possible that that information could be made available to the authorities.
The Patriot Act expanded one of the government's most powerful surveillance tools, the so-called